Welcome back to another episode of the South by East podcast where we talk about everything from the scriptures, the culture, and everything in between. Braille, what do we have today?
Man, John, there are some times when I'm watching something on the internet and my kids start getting hit in the head with pillows because I'm like, preach! There's too much truth coming through the screen. And this was one of those moments. I don't know this brother, but he had a great post talking about what it means to be grown and, more importantly, what it doesn't mean. And man, we're gonna check out a little bit of this clip, and then we're gonna break down some of this sentiment together. All right, here we go.
It's control.
Let's get it back.
A lot of times we just keep hearing, I'm grown this, I'm grown that, can't nobody check me, I said what I said, mind your business, pay your bills. All of that, that's not adulthood. That's emotional avoidance in a fitted hat. And most of the time you're not even grown, you just learn how to protect your impulses with adult language. Because here's the thing, can you regulate when you're wrong? Can you listen without lashing out? Can you repair, or do you just retreat? Because real growth doesn't need to declare itself. It shows up in how you move when you're challenged with care. See, what a lot of people call grown is just the freedom to collapse without consequence. It's not maturity. It's control. It's using age as an armor. It's being unaccountable with better lighting. That's what it is. Grown is not, I can say what I want. I don't owe anybody anything. That's just how I am. And actually, we're going to translate all of these. We're going to break down what they actually mean, because people say this and don't want to talk about the rest of it. Because what being grown is let me sit with that. Right? I see how that hurts you. I'm still learning. Thank you for the mirror. If you're grown doesn't include humility, it's just a louder version of your inner child with Wi-Fi access. That's it. Grown is...
If your version of grown does not include humility, it's just a louder version of your inner child with Wi-Fi access. Man.
So
my man was cooking. My man was cooking.
that boy was like Steph Curry in the fourth quarter
Draining.
of the gold medal match at the Olympics, bro. He was in another zone
yeah.
completely. Out of his mind, in another zone completely. And hey, you know what? We've hit a couple of clips now around some of these things. It's another young lady who Brill has shared several clips with me, and man, it's so real for our time. You know, it's one of those deals where we've talked about this several times too. We live in a world where it's almost impossible to find balance in an issue. We swing from one to another, and here's the deal. There's a lot of good research going on, and a lot of good talks going on around how in a lot of circles for a long period of time, the necessity for investment in social-emotional health, mental health was not there. And one of the things that we've seen is this overswing in some ways. And we've had this discussion around how there's certain buzzwords that just wear me out right now.
Yeah.
And in this one, man, there's so much truth, Braille.
Yes.
Because here's what I see. I'm serious, man. Look, there's a lack of what I call adulting that goes on in a lot of life, man.
Yeah,
where,
we need that definition.
And it's like, look, fam, you gonna have troubles. You gonna have bills.
Right.
You gonna have things that don't go, like none of your plans are gonna go perfect. And being an adult means I do it anyway. Being an adult means I don't do just what I feel. I first do what needs to be done, and then after what needs to be done is taken care of, then I go have fun. Being a kid and being immature means that I spend my paycheck on what makes me happy and have fun first, and not take care of my bills. And man, look, Diane is was my chick, man. You know, like the place my mama held with me.
Right.
And one of the things she taught me all the way, she's like, son, look, we pay bills first and then we have fun. We do our chores first and then we have fun. Look, that's how we handle business. We handle business first. If we're gonna do something, we do it all the way, or we don't do it at all.
Right.
And it just amazes me though. And it's like, hey, she say, son, what you do to get her, you gotta do to keep her.
Right.
There's this consistency deal, man. And it's like, and what I see a lot of catchphrases now is, I don't want accountability. I want to be paid at the top level, but I want to perform at the bottom of the barrel.
However, I got out of bed this morning.
And
that's the level I want to be at.
And you should let me do it because you're supposed to be Christian.
Man, and there's another piece to it too that hits where a lot of times when people are using that language, hey, I'm grown, I can do this because I'm grown, they also look at the youth, because I work in the schools, spend a lot of time in the schools, and I'll see our kids walking around and I'm like, they acting like the adults that they're around. The only difference is the adult doesn't have people that they've given accountability, that they've given authority over them. The kid doesn't have the ability to remove the authority from around them, but the adult does. And the only difference is that this kid is getting in trouble for doing the same things that you are doing. When he was talking about this, bro, I was like, man, growing up, especially when I was like a young adult, a lot of people that I was around, even in the church, like this is what I heard a lot. Man, I'm grown, don't worry about what I'm doing. Go pay your bills. I'm grown. And I was like, oh, I get it. I'm grown is code for I don't want to grow. Or even this one right here, that's just the way I am. That's just the way I am means I have accepted where I am in my emotional maturity, and I don't desire to go any further.
Bro, right now we're working on an initiative to create a community garden. Through this community garden, we're actually going to employ some of our friends that might have a challenge finding employment elsewhere and give them a chance. We're going to do total wraparound support with it. That's the model. We plan on training them there. The produce is going to be used in the Southside Filling Station, plus on a local food truck. And then we're hoping to help those employees transition from working in the garden getting paid to other jobs in the community, plus on the food truck, right? Mm-hmm. And using the produce there. Mm-hmm. And we're actually partnering with K-State to do the training, to start the garden, to help launch it, to plant it, to help do the training for the employees that'll learn how to do it, the whole nine. But a part of this, they said, we reached out to K-State because, look, I have a garden in my backyard, but I don't, when we grow a couple of cucumbers, we bring them inside. Yeah. Some strawberries, we bring them inside. Right. But this is going to be on another level. Mm-hmm. And they said, sure, we'll partner with you. But here's the deal. Before we would do any training for you to start this garden, we got to test the soil. We will not partner with you on creating this garden if we don't test the soil and first make adjustments to the soil. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because everything we grow in that garden will be a product of the soil that we planted in.
Right.
And man, look, I am telling you, the things that we are seeing pop up in our culture, in our churches, in our communities, in our schools, is a product of the soil that we are planting them in. And I'm just telling you, just the lack of accountability, man. Look, just being able to be consistent. I've talked about this before. Look, you get a job, show up on time, work hard, do your stuff, get it in, meet your timelines. If they got policies, follow the policies. Look, if you want to do something different, start your own business. And you still gonna have to follow the guidelines of whatever governing entity that you have to place yourself up under.
Yeah.
That is the thing that comes out, and man, I see some of these statements, and it's just unreal.
And to me, man, it's about commitment. So I had a conversation with my pops. Me and my pops are in a better place. We've done a lot of things. And I told him, though, one of the things that hurt me was we were having a conversation once. And he was like, man, I'm going to come see you next week. If you know anything about me and my pops' relationship, there's a lot of that and not a lot of, I saw you last week, if you get what I'm saying. A lot of I'm going to come see you, not a lot of I saw you. And we were having this conversation. He was like, you know what? I'll take that back. Because you know I don't do the things I said I'm going to do. And I don't think he understood how much that broke my heart as his son. Like, on one hand, I appreciated the honesty, and I'm sure that's what he was going for, and honesty is important. However, what I heard as his youngest son was, I don't care enough to even try. I have accepted that I am absentee, and this is where I'll be. Now that has changed since, or I wouldn't be telling this story. And we built a relationship, but that showed me something. For me, the commitment to growth is even more important than where you are right now. Even if we test the soil, you said something in that analogy. We're going to test the soil, and it's not, I'm going to test the soil to see if you're worthy or not of us to plant the garden. It's, I'm going to test the soil so we know what adjustments to make so that we can grow healthy produce. It's okay to be where you are. If you're inconsistent with your time management, if you're inconsistent with your emotional management, if you're inconsistent with the skills that you need for your area, it's all right to be where you are, but where are you committed to going to next? And I see too many people say, you know what I'm committed to? I'm committed to being right here. And all of the people who depend on us to take our next step, who depend on us making the adjustments in the soil, to hell with them. Because this is what it is and it's what it's going to be. And that's, when I see this, I was like, man, bro, you better preach. And it also, it was a mirror for me. I was like, are there any areas in my life where secretly in my heart I've said, I'm too grown to work on that?
You know what? Here's the deal. It's crazy that you say that. We're still in the Old Testament in our reading right now for the year, and I prayed this the last couple of days because we're in the books that contain this. I was like, Lord, is there any high places in my life? If you know anything about the Old Testament, then you know like the people of Israel, when they got a good king, this is in the Kings and Chronicles time, a lot of times they would be like, man, they tore down the Asherah poles, they got rid of this, the Baal worship, they did this, but the high places remain. And it's like, dang, man. And so I looked at that and I was like, man, God, I want to give you my high places. I don't want that to be my finishing story. Is that there was places of my heart and my life that were unyielded to God at the end. I want to give you my high places. That I think is where this comes down to, and we can make. I sit in a seat a lot of times, bro, where I see people make a lot of shielding comments, passive-aggressive moves, different things of that nature, to protect the shame that surrounds their high places like moats.
Yeah.
I encourage all y'all guys to lean into that and to truly ask yourself, where are the high places in your heart? And what does surrender look like?
And watch the rest of the video. It's funny, but he really goes into breaking down.
Yeah.
Hey, what do these things mean, and what should we do about them? And so it's a good video whether you think someone else should see it or whether you need to see it. I would check it out, watch the whole thing, man, and then jump in the comments with us, man. We want to see, do you have some high places, or are there some things that you're working on in you, or some areas where you've seen this happen and you're like, man, and I would challenge us, don't just throw somebody else under that bus, but also examine yourself and be like, hey, here's where I've seen me here. And man, we've been having some great conversations, especially in the Facebook group. So let's keep that happening. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, jump in those conversations, and we'll see you next week in the intersection.